Okay. So let's practice real quick. So
everything I said before this moment is off the record.
But okay. If you laugh, if you anything, just like keep it, pretend that, just hold it in your mouth the whole time. You personally, I'm telling this to you.
Sharing, so how does that work?
Yeah. So hold it closer. Yo, not yet. We have budgetary restrictions. Can you please hold it closer to your mouth?
Yes.
All right. Just hold it there. And then sometimes if you want to help your friend out with, like if it was me, but yeah, I'd be like, if she's telling a story.
Yo. Oh, no, what? Oh, for real? Oh, for real? Oh my God, I had lipstick on my teeth so early.
Good catch. Well, an ally.
Thank you.
One of the protocols that maybe is worth discussing is: do you like to be the default mic holder, or should I be the? All right, I'll be the default mic
Feminism.
holder.
Thank you so much. I was gonna suggest that because look, make a muscle. He was doing push-ups the other day, and I was like, I could tell that Safia was gonna be like this. She'd be like, and then tell a poem, and I'd be like, Josh, God damn it. So okay, now we're in. So let's practice that. So if you see my wife being charismatic, just pop on over.
Love to be the resident difficult woman of the Chris Gabo show.
Honestly, I would make you a jersey today. So I caught her laugh. So that was. I'm just telling you a little bit about professionalism, in the one mic game. Yeah, see, Reef, you fucked it up right just now, bro. You gotta be on the fucking. You gotta be on. Oh man. Oh man. Yo, you.
See, now we have a system.
There you go.
I'll just remember to raise my hand.
Oh man, the thing is that you're doing a great job, and I believe in you. Yo, honestly, Josh, single on them the whole time. Don't worry about. But he and I are professionals. We will be in the wide. We will get caught in the. You see what I'm saying?
Amateur.
No.
Wow.
No, little bro. This is out of love because I want to hear what you motherfucker. You all are really interesting. Yeah. Even you, bro.
Yeah,
when you're you.
The divisions have been drawn on the Chris
Y'all,
Gabo show.
I've never said this to a man, but sit closer to my wife. Please.
Make no mistake, baby, you fucking with the best of them. My elevator couple knock the snot about the rest of them. So if you doubt the kid got hard up in his chest, pops, you got me fucked up like ex-cops and Gen Pop.
Don't touch that dial, cause there's nothing else on. You might just as well listen to
The next episode of the Gabo Show.
Safia said what to me like I said something racist. She was like, what? I was like, his name is J. Tosh. Yeah, no, he just a little close. This will be the last. Okay. No, I know, but I'm just watching for the general. This is, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys, because I know that none of you want to do it. And
we're trapped. We're trapped here, and we're on this podcast against our will. This is a cry for help.
It's, when you ask your friends to do something for free and then you give them notes, they're like, listen, buddy. So I could tell, I was like, I felt myself, especially with my wife, I was like, I can see that I can give one more piece of feedback, and then so I was like, all right, that.
It's wild how you called a house meeting, and then now they're all the cameras and microphones.
Listen, this is what's happening. Analisa, our dear friend of the show, I convinced her to move to Los. I don't want to take a full credit, but yes, I did. We convinced her to move to Los Angeles. She came. She's an asset to the fucking community. Everyone makes more money when Analisa's around. Everyone has more fun when Analisa's around. And she was like, yo, I found a sublet. I got a thing. We went and met the guy. It's a great place. All this stuff. She comes here on this day. We get in the night before from New York. I'm picking her up from LAX. I'm ready to unpack her belongings. And then literally we're on the plane coming in, and Safia pokes me, and I look down, and you don't have to be on drugs for this to be scary, but it made it worse. And I look out the window, and it's just fire. And I don't know if y'all have seen the classic Denzel Washington movie Flight, when he flies the plane up.
Yes, I've seen it.
I was like, I think that's what my man's gonna have to do to land. And I thought.
And Denzel did that drunk.
Which helped.
You keep making that reference, but the whole point of that movie isn't that he lands the plane, it's that he's on drugs and alcohol while he's flying the plane.
Listen, I like that about him. I think he's a survivor. Dude, I saw that movie on 125th. That the theater, whatever.
You saw that on a big screen?
I did see it. I saw it in the theater.
I saw that like 2 Christmases ago. I think it was like a Christmas viewing. No,
Not
in Guyana.
2 Christmases.
In Guyana, I watched it.
Where that
Just
in the
on
theater?
the TV there. Yeah.
It's an unbelievably fun movie.
I was moved.
I was moved. It does like a special thing where you get to like an action sequence that's like it's like ridiculous on like a Fast and the Furious level, but for some reason because it's Denzel, you're like, he did flip the plane upside down. And it like makes you think, don't quit drugs and alcohol. Make it work for you.
Finish all your story.
The wife of the pod, you know what I'm saying? Wife of the show. No, but we flew in and the world was on fire, and then I got a text from, I was supposed to pick Analisa up from the airport the next morning, and she hit me, was like, I changed my flight, and I was like, that makes sense. And then I started to feel like lightweight guilty, where I was like, did I just convince like a real good friend to move to a place that's on fire? That's right.
So like, not to feel like she could take it, but it's not like she's from a peaceful part of the country.
Yo, I don't know why that like struck me as slightly offensive from a person from Florida. She just said, but yes, you are correct. They have her.
With, all due respect to the Floridian listeners of the show.
It's true. I think hurricanes are, but again, this is just a cultural thing. It's like hurricanes, they will also kill you. But like, it's gradual on somebody's like the water or whatever. The fire shit, I'm like, I just have it was very scary. And honestly, like, y'all yesterday, because y'all have been here for 2 nights, 3 nights.
The entire time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're putting you on the lease.
You are on the lease. But Reef, to stay on the lease, when you talk, put that shit in front, just the back. Just this. Just use the elbow. See, it's a metaphor about teamwork. No, but really, like, I was just like, I don't know what to do, right? And we'd only been here like 8 hours, and then I knew that Bahia had lost power, and then I was like, okay, she's gonna come over. And then Reef, I was like, well, I just want to hang out with you. So I was like, danger, fire in Highland Park. Get here as fast as you can. Don't wait. Don't back. Because I was dying to see you. No, but really, like, we've been, it's been kind of like slumber party vibes, and also like, somber and slightly panic-inducing at moments. But I think we've really had, Safia and I are very grateful that y'all are here. Like, I know that y'all are like, oh, we're glad to be here. I'm like, no, man, like, it's so much more. Who wants to do any of this alone?
Yeah. I've been thinking about that. Like I am so grateful. I've been so grateful to be here and like to ride this out like together. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It was scary. Like the night before, what was that, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
It was so scary. Like in my apartment, the winds were crazy, and I was like, oh,
you have recordings of them.
I do. And like, I was like, this apartment is made of popsicle sticks. Like, it's literally blowing through the house. And so I really appreciate the invitation. And, like, you guys are the best. Like, honestly, being like, actually, don't go. Like, stay. We're like, maybe I think we can go back to our places now. And you guys are like, actually, stay. Like, that's a really beautiful feeling.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Oh, it's 100% selfish. We're having so much fun. Like, Safia and I love each other's company. And also, we're like, it's just fun to like cohabitate. And like, also when I said this, I was like, it's a testament to how much we like each other. You know what I mean? Because anybody else would be like, hey, you guys, I think it's safe to go back. There's no water or electricity, but I think you'll be okay. Why don't you don't let the door hit you, And here, like,
the hang is over when you start talking about it in past tense too. Like, all right, you guys, that was so beautiful. We made some memories for sure. Thank you so much. That's kind of how you know.
Here's the thing.
This time that we're talking about this hang in present tense.
No, 100%, because the other night, like, you guys just stay up later than I do. And like, but I get such FOMO. And so when I know that it's 10 o'clock and there's going to be, 3 more hours of quality bonding experience that Christopher's not going to be a part of, I'm a little like, but knowing that you motherfuckers are going to be here in the morning, that's what lets me like sleep, right? Because the other day I got anxious. Reef was like, we went out, we did leave the house for like 2 seconds to go eat some lunch. And Reef was like, what'd you say?
Put gas in the
To
car.
put gas in the car. That is what we did. And Reef hit me with a very macho. He was like, all right, man, so I think I'm going to probably head out tonight. And I was like, inside I was like screaming. I was crying. I was like, I made my face really cool, but inside I was like, no. And I got home and I was like, I told on him. I was like, Reef says he's going to go. That sounds kind of unsafe, right? Don't you guys think he's being irresponsible?
Very
And but he had my back, yo.
I did. We had to bring him to the red table. We're like, Reef, what's going on? Why are you trying to pull away from the group right now? Like,
He was.
It's a lot.
I was
like I feel like part of the way I grew up, or like one of the messages that's always in my head is like, how do you take up the least amount of space? Like it's something that has always been, it's always been there in the background, and I'm very grateful to be around people that help me like evolve out of that or get out of that type of
I mean,
place.
it's a... Go ahead.
no, that's really interesting because just like overall your vibe, like you have this like minimalist, I like to call it Batman way of being, like everything tidy.
He does jump out of bed and start doing push-ups.
neat. So like that's like the, you know, the positive side of like that upbringing, but also like, you know, and you're very like, you don't impose yourself. It's very mindful, very demure. very
demure. But I mean, it's a good way to live, right? I mean, like, it's my parents always said, like, you know, guests are like fish, they stink after 3 days, right? But it's like, again, like, we're family, bro. Like, and again, like last night we were going to sleep and you were out here playing the piano and I was like, alhamdulillah, bro. That was like really, and it's been very just like, there's no other way to say it than it's like, it's just good company. And I, you know, the first night I was not in party mode. I was stressed and I kind of like detached to go be alone because I felt like I was panicking. You know, like it's one thing when you're like, oh yeah, you know, my friends are coming here because this is a safe place. But when we were when they call the evac zone of us, and you know, shout out to Malik's friends of the show, real friends of the show, and real friends in real life. They were like, come to Inglewood, and I was not ready to let go, and I was lying to certain people. Like, shout out Alani and Jaquita. They were like, "Are you good?" But Jaquita and Alani were like, "You should get out of there because of the air conditions." And I refused to like say that I was leaving. I just kept saying I'm good because I was like, I'm not leaving. And you know, this building has been here for 100 years. You know, and I was like, it's such a concrete area that like, I don't think the streets are going to be on fire, inshallah, and thank God alhamdulillah, they were not, right? But I was like, if we keep the windows closed, I think we can thug it out. But I was not having fun. Like, we were like, oh, let's watch the movie, and I was like, I like shot myself with a nail gun and went to bed because it was stressful. And without you guys being here in the morning, I think it would have been like, you know, and obviously Safia and I have like our own really, and we got so close during the pandemic, so we know how to be just us. But it can be helpful to like have other energies to cut it with and other things to do, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We were right at the tip of the evac zone, right? Like on the, what is that, the eastern tip?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sky was orange. Like it's
not fucking
scary.
cool.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
And it really, like, I just think there's such a like a sort of a I felt a very like I felt shame around this sort of like American arrogance where, like, you know, you watch what's happening in Gaza and Sudan like on the fucking your phone and you're like, oh, your heart breaks and that's horrible, but you're like, it's not gonna happen to me, right? And then you see the Palisades shit and you're like, that looks like there was airstrikes there because it's bombed the fuck out, you know what I mean? And so I think for a lot of people, especially like in the wake of the last year, you know what I mean, I think it was doing something to the look, we're all in this together, and by that I mean like the macro, like Earth. And I think for a lot of people that was something about this city being on fire. Like, I don't know, some people are in denial about that, but I think for other people it like very much clarified that. And it's a thing that I've been thinking like the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely like seeing the evacuation zones and like the grid and your different like number over your area, like that. I really, because I remember seeing like people in Gaza show that like the leaflets that they would be dropping and then being like, my zone, now I have to go to this one and this zone's okay now. Like seeing that parallel was really yeah, it made, you know, and I know it's like different levels of suffering and like violence, but it felt like a parallel, like seeing that, be like, oh my gosh, like this is a fraction of like what they're experiencing in terms of like this evacuation zone, and now I have a zone and there's like a grid placed over and like move from one zone to the other. So
I wonder what y'all think about that, because you were saying, you know, I could see Bahia and what you were saying. You were like, oh, it's not the same thing, but sometimes I think that like the things that where we can draw parallels, it's not that I'm saying like, oh, our suffering is the exact same. No, of course not. But I think that finding the parallels can be helpful, because a lot of people have, I think, an abstract relationship to other people's suffering. You know what I mean? And it just like is pretty unabstract, you know? Like fire, like it's you know, the word Holocaust literally means sacrifice by fire, I believe. I think that's true. Or at least that's what I remember as a kid, I learned the word Holocaust is it's sacrifice by fire, right? So you're like, fire is in all the religious texts, because it's, you know, often a metaphor for literally hell, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you look at it and it's literal, you know what I'm saying? And it's, again, like, it makes you think about the fact that like I don't know how anybody like would like, oh, I go to, you know, it's one thing to clock into a job at like a whatever factory, like I have no relationship to this, but when you're like clocking into like a factory that makes bombs, like I can't wrap my head around it, because you're like, yo, you're making more of that. You're making more like fire, destruction, you're making, it's like they're hell machines, you know what I'm saying? And so to see that, and I know, Safia, you were telling me that, and I haven't really been following this, but maybe you could tell us about it a little bit, that like there have been some additional fires that are supposedly like there's been like arson and stuff. Like I don't know anything about.
I don't know that I feel comfortable stating this as fact, because it's also just, it's like the internet, and you know, it just is like an endless scroll of unregulated, unfact-checked information. So I don't know that we like necessarily need to get into it, but there is today's what, January 10th, 11th, something like that. As of January 10th or 11th, there is some speculation about some of the fires being started by arson, which I guess we'll know more eventually. It's hard to say if that is true. That's really hard to think about, but yeah, I don't know for sure.
No, and I appreciate your the nuance and the care with which you address that, because I have like been, I don't know, the internet it's always a kind of hellish place to be, but like you saw, it was interesting, right? So you saw like certain friends on the left that would like, they were like, well, so there's certain moments where I go like, okay, in a moment there's like 13 people on my timeline who are going to repost the same thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be sort of in a cycle of this thing, right? Because they have similar, I don't know, information outlets or whatever, right? And so we saw all of, I don't know about you guys, I saw this kind of wave of coverage that was specifically about like Karen Bass had like cut a bunch of money from the fire department and then had given a bunch of money to the police department or whatever, and I was just kind of taking that at face value. And then like
I remember seeing that tweet floating around also like one of the first few days,
and there had been like, I believe it was like a Skynet reporter who was like on a plane with her, and then he asked her a question like, do you know, he like kind of bombarded her as she was leaving, which she was flying commercial, was interesting, and he was asking her like, do you owe the people of Los Angeles an apology? And she kind of like looks shell-shocked or whatever. I saw a longer version of the video, and it's interesting because it's like you're on his side until like I don't remember what he says, but it feels like a little like they clip the video at a certain point to get you on the sympathy of the individual, right? But then later on, I saw some people posting basically like backtracking, being like, "Oh, we posted this thing about the Karen Bass defunding LAFD in favor of LAPD and the budget thing, but it's not quite true, right?" And so I feel like that was just kind of an indicative moment for me of like what happens when we're like, I have to have a take, I have to be in the cycle.
I will say, I mean, yes, there's like a nuance to it that is easy to like, if you miss it, then you can spread misinformation. But I think if we can zoom out for a second, even the like the need to have a take or the need to be like, okay, this is like the structural issue linked to what's going on, I think is a symptom of, okay, how do I put this? The thing that I am really reminded of in this moment is when the war in Sudan started, there were like all of the aid organizations like evacuated their non-Sudanese staff and left. They didn't do anything. The like one job that they're in town to do, this was the moment to do it, and instead they packed up their offices and they left. And so all of the aid work was being done by civilians through like mutual aid networks, but literally like people were coordinating in the diaspora via WhatsApp to evacuate people. Like I would wake up in the morning and I would have a text from my friend being like, hey, my family is like leaving on a bus from this intersection in Umdurman at this time, and there's 3 seats left on that bus if you know anyone who needs to get on that bus to go to the Egyptian border or something. And that was all. No one is like a professional at that kind of coordinating, and still it was so effective, it was so organized, it was so humane. And it, you know, so anything that like the fact that anyone made it out of there alive was entirely because of the efforts of like other Sudanese people, of civilians, in a moment where, you know, in like a country in a part of the world that has just kind of been like, with very little exception, like failed by institutions since the dawn of time. And I'm really, really reminded of that now, because it took like 30 seconds for all of these like mutual aid spreadsheets to be assembled, and everyone's GoFundMe.
Shout out
like,
Silo.
Alphabetical order, and you know, and people are really taking care of each other. Like legit, right before we started filming, a friend like got a big donation of a bunch of air purifiers and came and dropped off one in our apartment, like, and was like, do you guys have the correct kind of masks and things like that? So the way that people are really taking care of each other, on the one hand, is really beautiful and affirming, and I think like confirms an existing set of beliefs about how we take care of each other. And I don't know that I don't know, maybe some communities have been not failed by institutions and governments and stuff. I can't speak for those people, but this just kind of does confirm the existing care networks that I think we've all been a part of. I don't think I know anyone that's been like the government's gonna help me. Like, don't worry, they got this. And so on the one hand, really beautiful, really affirming, love our people, love our community. And also I think it speaks to the fact that it exacerbates the fact that people are really, at the very least, really fucking annoyed by the powers that be. And so of course everyone wants to be like, well, this all happened because they moved the money from here to here. You know what I mean? Where it's like, even if the actual fact or the math is not 100%, the feeling behind it, which is that the people who have been installed to do public service have failed to do public service, and so here we are doing the labor that someone is like paid a salary to do. We're doing it for free because we're not gonna not take care of each other, you know. But no
excuse me, no, 100%. And I think that like with that, the reason I brought up that particular news cycle was, first, number one, I felt kind of like grateful that I hadn't posted anything about it. I was like, oh, good. It's good to be like, yeah, that's right, we should fact check. We were like, I just wasn't on that, right? But like, you know, I also, on some level, even though I wanted to get the right fact, I'm like, yeah, like what you're saying, in the macro, not even just Los Angeles, the United States funds, you know, the police departments like it's the biggest priority on earth, you know what I mean, just to like harass citizens and like, you know, launder American empire, you know what I'm saying? And there wasn't water in the hydrants, and in the Palisades, people were like, you know, like they had private firefighters, and I'm like, the word, I never heard the word private firefighters, you know. And it made me think of the somebody posted this the other day that they said, like, you know, if the police did their job, no one would be mad at them. If they did what the thing they were supposed to do, and the punchline was like, you know, NWA doesn't have a song called "Fuck the Fire Department." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so, no, I 100% take your point. I think that one of the hallmarks, I believe, of our generation is this sort of what you call a care network or sort of a mutual aid network. You know what I mean? Like that's been in the DNA of our shit for kind of a minute. Our meaning like, yeah, I guess I would say like this niche of our generation, you know. You mean
this generation? I mean, again, I maybe like across communities, maybe it's more concentrated in this generation, but I don't know. I come from a very collectivist culture, you know, and so that doesn't feel particularly new.
No. I don't mean that it's new. I just mean that it's like, and again, I think it's community based. I think there are probably parts, you know, people who are born the exact same year as us that are like not in any community care networks whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I just think that when we're talking about, I don't know, hallmarks of our experience, you know what I mean? I believe that that's one of them. And unfortunately, I had this realization. I mean, this is like kind of a dumb thing to say, but it was like obvious where I went, oh, climate disaster refugee shit is gonna be a hallmark of our experience on Earth. You know what I'm saying? And I know this is kind of naive, but I think I was like, I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, that'll be my kids' shit. And maybe I won't have kids, right? And I was like, hey, yeah, should we pack a bag and put the passports in it and shit?
Yeah. This is going to be the era of a lot of movement of people due to climate change for sure.
And obviously, like people in, you know, in the Maldives and different places on Earth that are, you know, in the global South that no one, you know,
it's American begun.
100%.
Like,
yeah,
the
it's
waves
like,
are happening. The
exactly.
people are moving, and the people
Exactly.
will always move. Like, you know, and like these attempts to keep people out. It's like that's like how all life has survived. Like moving to higher ground, moving to a place where you can sustain your life, you know, and your offspring's lives. Like that's just like the instinct of life. So it's like, people will move and people will, you know, have to cross the borders, you know.
Oh, yeah, the border from Glendale to Hollywood. Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, I think it's gonna be like we're in it, you know. It's happening now.
In it.
We are in the change of the climate. We are within it.
And you know, a lot of people always bring this up when Westerners start talking about the apocalypse. Is like, you know, many people's worlds have ended dozens of times. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of times, right? We're just like, we're just talking about our intersection. You know what I mean? At this exact moment in time, and how it, you know, it's like no one talks about anything till it's on their doorstep, and then you're like, oh shit, I guess it's time now. You know, but I'm very grateful for, you know, the people in your life are your life. We say it all the time, but it really is like, yeah.
Yeah, community is everything. Friends are everything. Like for real, like
100%.
You know, when you're like, okay, if I lost everything, like it's not as bad if you have like friends and people around, or you're like, okay, I won't fall to the bottom of the, you know, of society. I won't like fall through the cracks and enter the depths of despair from which I will never return, you know. Like people will catch me and like keep me afloat until I can, you know, propel myself. Yeah.
Well, and I think that this is like indicative of like different types of mentality, right? Because you see, like, you know, people in the like billionaire class in the tech world and stuff, like because they're not willing to be good to other people, their calculation, I'm not making this up, being hyperbolic. I read an article the other day about this, that basically they were like, okay, so if I hire a pilot to get me out of a climate disaster into New Zealand or whatever, I guess I have to kill the pilot when I get there. Shit like that, right? a similar, because exactly why, bro? Because they're not trying to share or do any sort of thing. So it's like, there was also
No, like literally, I don't understand. Can you explain it?
Literally, babe, it's not to be
Is it like a bunker, like a secret?
No, they're like, I don't want to feed you when we get, so you need to get me there. But once you get there, similarly, okay, remember when I was, I had that.
What movie is this?
To New Zealand? What?
Well, okay, the New Zealand thing is, I have no, that is one of the places.
Start from the beginning and explain it to me like I don't know what's going on.
Take it back.
Okay, so an example I know more about, right, is when we were doing, I had that show with HBO, the Bodyguards joint, right? One of the things that I learned in the research was that people were, from the billionaire class who were like trying to like plan for like bunkers sort of survival situations. They were like, all right, well, I need military guys to prevent other people from coming in to eat my.
Oh, is it because like they're a threat because you're a billionaire and they could like kidnap you and get for ransom? Like, so they they can never fully trust them. Like billionaires don't have friends. Maybe
this is kind of what I'm getting at, bro. This is kind of where it's like because one
just payroll and people who might want.
It's just payroll. Okay, well that's the episode title. We got it. Thank you, Bahia. No, because here's the thing, right? It's like one of the safest ways to be safe is to do good to everybody, so that once you're in my way, I'm in your way. I'm like, oh no, Josh is always cool to me after you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're like
more problems.
more, yeah, I don't know, man. I could use some more problems. I think.
But it gets to a point.
No, 100%. But it's about mentality, right? Where you're like, if you think, and again, to the bodyguard shit, right? Basically, the sort of that it's like a famous like riddle where it's like there's a wolf, a sheep, and a barrel of hay, and you have to get it across the river, and the boat can only hold two things at once. So you're like, first you go with the sheep and the barrel of hay, but then you take the sheep back because the sheep's gonna eat the barrel of hay, whatever. That's the kind of math that they're doing because they're not community-oriented motherfuckers, right? So when you were talking about the kidnap, it's not even that. What they're saying is like, I'm in a bunker.
Ransom.
Not even that. They're saying like, I'm in a bunker with food and water. Mm-hmm. I don't want other motherfuckers to get in.
So they're not going to New Zealand. They're going to a bunker. They're going to like an undisclosed.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because it's like a secret.
They're not like emigrating. They're going to a secret location.
I believe we got hung up on the New Zealand thing. New Zealand is just a word that people I hear. I mean, it's no more than a word, right?
It's a place.
It is a place. It is a place full of beautiful people, lovely people
who we respect.
New Zealand is just a metaphor. Is what you're saying.
It's an idea. New Zealand is just.
My cousin Pacho just moved to New Zealand.
To literal New Zealand or to the idea
Polynesia?
No, literal New Zealand. But what I'm saying is that I hear rich Americans talk about New Zealand as a place that you can escape climate change. I don't know why. I'm just saying it's just a.
I don't know. I don't know if it's one of the, like a stable
islands to escape climate. Again, I don't know
shit about that. Let's but just to finish when you were asking to explain about the having to like the people serve you. Yeah, exactly. So the conundrum that was in this article, and I believe this article was like, this wasn't no crackpot, nothing. It was like, well, I believe Forbes is a crackpot organization, but not in the sense that it's like, it ain't underground. This was like in Financial Times magazine or some bullshit. And they were basically like the conundrum of like, similar to like having the sheep, the wolf, and the whatever, is like being like, all right, well,
that's why they all take flying lessons and learn to fly.
Do they all take flying lessons?
Yeah, they all take flying lessons. They all are training to be pilots.
Well,
so that they don't have to rely on a working class pilot.
Is that like billionaire doomsday prepping? Is learning the pilot?
I feel like I'm always like, why are they all learning to fly? Like, is it just fun? But like maybe there's. Well,
they should also learn to fight, because that was the whole thing with the bodyguard shit. Was they were like, damn, I'm paying someone. Okay, I'm paying someone to protect me so that no one comes and takes my granola bars and my water, but that guy could just kill me. So they were talking about like shock collars and stuff, where they were like, how do I...
What?
I'm dead ass.
In Forbes.
Yeah. I'll find the article. But what I'm saying is that is the mentality, the psychosis. It's basically guilt. You're admitting. It's like what we say about Israel all the time, that every accusation is a confession. They're like, you want us to all die if you get. You're like, bro, you're just telling me what's on your mind, bro. Every accusation is a confession. So when they're here, like, oh, what if they don't want to share their Chef Boyardee with the guy that's paid to protect them and their Chef Boyardee? So they're like, how do we make it so that you protect me until I'm done with you, and then I chew you up like a pistachio and discard the shell? Like, that's the opposite of community. You see what I'm saying? Because we're like, yo, like, everyone will, let's all share the dishes and make some guacamole for the like, because, and also we're like, we also want each other to survive. These people are like not interested in anybody else, and that's where it's like, to your point, Safia, earlier, where you're like, oh, I don't think it's generational. I think it's like, it's cultural on some level. And I think that's true, right? And in this sort of like, billionaire tech class, like the culture of that is not a humanist culture, right? It's not a collectivist culture at all. The idea is like, how do I get mine I mean, that's why Elon Musk is obsessed with going to the moon, because he's already given. He's like, yo, we're gonna keep fucking this shit up. We're gonna turn the rainforest aquifer into a fucking private timeshare for ChatGPT servers or whatever. So let's get this Mars shit cracking, because I'm not like that's. You're like, yo, the fact that you're trying to get out of here means that like you're not in. It's like, yo, if instead of like working to like make sure that we paid the mortgage, if I was like, you just saw me on like howtoescapelosAngeles.com, you're like, Chris, you're not doing that. You should be working on the other thing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I will not be going to space. I just want everyone to know I will not be going to space.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yo, go on the internet.
They say like for astronauts, like there's like this like condition of like open-mindedness that happens when you look upon the earth from outside of it. Like it's like something fundamentally shifts in you. So I would like I think that would be really cool to see the earth from outside it, but like I do not want to go to like a Tesla colony like on Mars. But like I do believe in, if there was ethical space travel, ethical Star Trek
EST,
vibe,
ethical space travel.
Exploration, that kind of utopian space exploration, like
Star Trek.
Yeah, like that version of it.
Like communist, gay utopia, space technology, high luxury.
Everyone's got their skills. Everyone's suits are tailored. I mean, it's a vibe.
We need Alani Alongwe here to talk to us about the Star Trek shit, because I don't know anything about that.
I was on Star Trek. Do you know that?
You were on Star Trek
Discovery. Yeah, and I have to say, like,
I did not know
there
that.
was like so there's a character Saru who's like, he gets like full prosthetics, like down like his hands and everything, like full alien everything. So like throughout the shooting day he has to like drink through a straw because like he can't take anything off. And he's like also very tall and just like very brilliant. But like it's funny because you're sitting in your chairs like when you're like those set chairs like when it's not shooting, and like and it's kind of like imagining if this was like how it would be, because there's like a full alien and you're having a conversation with them and you're like, these are like imagine they were real aliens and we were just like sitting here casually having conversations. Like,
would you fuck an alien?
Listen, I wouldn't rule it out.
It's a thing I think about.
In case I don't know the quality of the aliens. What if there was like really hot, charming aliens and who were like way better than everybody here? It's slim pickings on Earth. Like, I wouldn't rule it out.
It's a thing I think about, because what if you got like a strain of like something that to them is penicillin? It's fine, but like to us it's like some sort of crazy STI that's gonna like kill you and me. That would be my biggest.
Your first thought?
It's my second thought.
Your first thought?
My first thought is I have to talk to my wife first to get permission, because ethical, ethical non-monogamy in space.
Yeah. How does that work?
Ethical non-monogamy in space. Thank you.
Come here so I can fix your hat. Listen, it is I want to know what you guys' opinion is on this, because I sometimes in my quiet moments I have harsh thoughts. I think all astronauts are fucking losers, because and again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to being wrong.
Explain yourself. I know.
Yeah,
with the hot takes. I apologize to everyone listening right now. I did not know this was coming. I was not briefed
before this episode airs. Thank you.
All right, no. Well, this is why I'm asking your opinion.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Here's why I think that. No, here's the thing. Sometimes I don't like to leave Los Angeles because I'm like, when am I going to see Reef again? When am I going to see Bahia again? So I'm like, you must have no friends, right? If you're willing to go into space, like something for like an undeterminate amount of, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm gonna say I think you're wrong.
Okay,
I think they have
is not a social identity.
It is a social identity.
No, I think
maybe you over-identify socially with your profession, but I don't think astronaut is a social identity.
No, Safi was just like, maybe you're just your work, but other people have aspirations. No, it is okay. I take it back. Yo,
I think like they're passionate.
It was a question, you guys.
I think they're passionate. Like, I think people get really passionate about space. I think there's a lot to be passionate and excited about. And like, that's what I mean, like the good people who go up to space, who are curious about like that unknown frontier, they're going into the void. Like, I think that really can be one of those areas that science transcends into poetry, because it's like you're out there into the void, you know. And maybe that's kind of why they could stand to be isolated, because like it's that it verges back into like that artistic mindset of like in the solitude, you know, all that you perceive.
And yeah, I'm with you. Like I haven't
but you're not allowed to go to space, so keep giving your take, but you're not allowed to go. We have records to make.
I haven't like contemplated the astronauts as like a group of people enough to like form an opinion about them, but like
we have Dale Earnhardt, who I don't even know a fucking astronaut. Dale Earnhart's not an astronaut. We have Neil Armstrong calling into the show. And he's like, "Fuck you! I'm unsubscribing from the Patreon."
Tom Hanks.
If there was a single astronaut who subscribed to the Patreon, I would be thrilled and shocked. And sorry, continue.
But I agree with you. Like I get excited about people who are excited about things. Yeah. So whenever I see somebody that's really into something, and if for some people that's like, I want to go into space and look at things, like that's cool to me. Like I'm into
I want to apologize for my question. It really,
yeah, you came out swinging with that.
As a man who is often wrong, I pose many questions. No, but it's, I gotta be honest. You know, it's like you hate in others that which you fear in yourself. Like I'm so. Like when I see someone go up,
interesting. Yeah, this is interesting.
I literally like, I feel like even a movie about space, even a cartoon about space, I get so like, I miss my mom. I'm like, we always talk about this stuff where like, I mean, my biggest, one of the things that I have nightmares about, even though it has nothing to do with my personal experience, is like the Challenger explosion, where you're like, your wife is in there, your husband there, you're like, oh my God, look, let's all gather around at the bar. And then and you're like, I can't even, it's like an unfathomable thing. And because space travel is maybe the least safe like thing I could think about, you know what I'm saying, other than the M60 bus, which can be sometimes not on time, but like it's very very you know what I'm saying, like. And also once you're up there, I mean, they had something recently, I think Hisham was telling me about this, where they got up there and they're like, yeah, the orbit's supposed to be 2 weeks, and they're like, fuck, 6 months. And you're like,
like no, okay,
now what? And also just like, but the spiritualist in me, like the part, like the religious part of me is like, oh yeah, like there's so much else out there. But it's, and I think everything's my business. This is the thing where I'm like, nah, y'all gotta come to me. Like if there's a thing where they're like, hey, we're gonna have a little meet and greet for the aliens from Sector 7 in downtown LA, I'd be like, I will be there. I'll be late, but I'll be there, right? But going out there, I could have a panic attack thinking about it right now, like just thinking about it.
I think that's why there's a lot of screenings for like people being able to go up in space. And I think part of it is, I think it's a big challenge to your mental health. Like I do think it's disorienting and very hard. I think it's very, very challenging.
It's existentially
as someone who's been in space on television, I could say, I did.
No, but he would be like, I actually was on ER, so I'm not saying I know everything about heart surgery, but I'll give it a look.
From my experience.
But you are born to have a podcast. I want you to know. We were talking about Bahia's upcoming podcast, Salam Bahia, and I didn't know. We kind of like, I know we didn't just meet. We know each other for a little bit, but like the person I know of most recently of these individuals, and I'm like, you got a gift, kid. You know, I would tune into your shit. I would tune into your shit today.
It's a collective, you know. We're all like you know, we're bringing our gifts, we're sharing them.
You're definitely sharing them, and I feel grateful to receive.
Oh, well, I feel grateful for the opportunity to like talk into a mic and like, you know.
You could do it every week for no money here. Real quick, let's take a break. I want to listen to this joint by our friend Mbala. It's called Gimme Racks. I want to play this song real quick, and then we could transition to maybe talking about something else, because I'm scared of this space shit.
Cool. I'm in it.
Woo! All right. I'm gonna just play this. Y'all cannot really.
I shall not be setting my race.
Yeah. Yeah, bitch, where the hood niggas at? I love it, gotta make the right people mad. They want that static, I don't got none of that. But the booty moving like it got drugs in the bag. Thinking you got smoke with me, is it crack? All that hating causing asthma attacks. I'm jihadist when it come to the bag. I do not come in peace, nigga, don't make me laugh. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Talking racks on racks on racks, nigga. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Talking racks on racks on racks, nigga. Let me tell you about some shit you don't know. I'm from DC, right by the zoo. Rich and crazy, baby, ask the whole crew. Woodley Park, Northwest, nigga, you know what it do. Bitch, I'm African, I birthed the whole globe. And you ain't texting me a whole CEO. And you some actors, but I wrote the whole show. I do not need your flower, bitch, and ball and get dope, nigga. Yeah, I get dope, nigga. I get dope, nigga. I get dope, nigga. I come get the bag, nigga stuck, run me all of that. If you wanna fuck, it's a dub, paying only cash. I don't need your love, got enough, and I don't need gas. Baby, give me racks. Give me racks. Give me racks. Give me that. Talking racks on racks on racks, nigga. Give me that. Give me that. Talking racks on racks, nigga.
Smoking exotic weed, straight up out the door. You ain't gonna meet a nigga like me, I'm a star. Pull up hanging out the window with my car. Buying little mama MCM into how far. I'm a fucking bad stacker. Zaza weed hitting like a linebacker. Smoking exotic green in the bay like a pack of little mama. Ain't loyal and by the bread, then I'm a passer. Suck my legs and then I skirt. Everybody know that drop top been putting in work. And I got it out the dirt. Land shark up on my shirt. Pop a nigga like I'm dirt. I'ma hit it till little mama pussy squirt, nigga.
I come get the bag, nigga stuck, run me all of that. If you wanna fuck, it's a dub, paying only cash. I don't need your love, got enough, and I don't need gas. Baby, give me racks. Give me racks. Give me racks. Give me racks. Talking racks on racks on racks, nigga. Give me racks. Give me racks. Give me racks. Talking racks on racks, nigga. Hey, look. Listen, Linda, listen. I don't know who you've been talking to or what they said, alright? But if you need money, don't come ask me, bro. I don't got it. I don't got it at all.
Woo.
Not to
That
Linda
was
anyway.
Gimme Racks by Umbala and Duce Drop Top. I love that song.
That's Mbala spelled with an 8. You should let people know.
M, number 8, ALLA on Spotify, Apple Music, and all. So, you know, now that we've discussed the importance of being in solidarity with the astronaut community, we've discussed the fires, we've discussed that my wife thought my hat looked stupid. Now we can get into serious topics about Rhythm and Flow Season 2, because we all watched that yesterday. Shocking. There will be spoilers. So if you're like, I don't want to know who won, don't listen to this part. Go listen to Joe Rogan or something, or On Being with Kristen Tippett or something. I don't know what other people. You know, people are like with music. It's like for fans that like this, you might like this. When I think about this show, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, for people who might like, but so yeah, round table discussion. Well, let's. It was a pretty shocking ending. Should we just like start up front with the fact that there's a spoiler and talk about the ending and go from backwards?
Yeah.
Yo, that was so tense. Everyone was like, This is not our don't call a production meeting in the middle. Everyone got stressed. Fuck it. Talk. Go do your thing.
Well, so let's start with Jay Taj. Let's just talk about Jay Taj because he really stood out throughout the whole arc of the show. Very interesting guy from the West Coast. I don't know exactly where. Was
He's
he
from Santa
LA?
Ana.
Yeah.
Santa Ana. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the winds.
Yep.
Handsome.
Grown man rapper.
Grown man
32,
rapper.
love it.
Grown man rapper.
Yep. Very deep voice, like smooth flow. And like he was just surprise after surprise. Every challenge he really like came, brought something else out of himself and did not hold back. Brought like sexy little like moves, gestures. Remember this one?
Well, so I googled
I just
it.
think it takes a lot of courage to throw a gesture pose on stage. Like I don't know if everyone knows like that really,
So
I respect that.
A funny thing that
I respect a gestural pose.
a thing that I learned this morning was that he came to music wanting to be a dancer. Doesn't that just put everything?
This was not covered in
It's
the
actually in his
show.
Spotify bio. That like he was
Wow.
inspired by Michael Jackson at like 13. Because that when he was hitting the like, I was like, I thought he was out of his comfort zone. I was like, when you see a big dude who's a rapper, you're like, oh, he's not going to be like a movement guy. And then I was like, yo, that shit was awesome.
Exactly. Oh my god. Okay, that explains a lot. He's a dancer.
He is. And a grown artist. Like it wasn't random. That's why when he lost, spoiler alert, that was the most insane shit I'd ever seen.
It was tough.
Yeah, because he really delivered.
Safi, do you want to tell us who Dre TL is?
Who is Dre TL? Dre TL who was at the time the show was filming, I believe 22 years old, is a college student. He's from Atlanta, hence the name Dre TL. And what can I say about Dre TL? Here's the thing. I will say he's so easy to root for because he's just handsome. He's a sweet kid. He like... Especially as the show went on, my favorite thing about him as like, I know he's a real person, but because it's a TV show, he's a character on TV, was he very much will say the quiet part loud. So there's one part where he was very stressed out. I will let the listeners experience it for themselves. But there's this, I don't want to paraphrase it, but he was like, I love to rap, but I'm not having fun.
Yo, I literally took a screenshot of that moment. He was like, I love rapping, but I'm not having fun right now.
I'm not having fun right now.
Which
And I'm with a superstar.
yeah, okay. This is the part. This is okay. Reef, tell.
There was so much like he had just done a performance. Someone came up and hugged him and was like, "You did great," and he was like, "I was trying very hard."
Which
Very
that
earnest. It's earnestness.
that's how I.
So mesquite.
But that I fuck with that part. Like anytime anyone ever give me a comment, I've been like, yeah, because I worked for 7 million hours trying to get it right.
Aggro like that. It was so earnest.
Wait, you should call me aggro?
Yeah.
It wasn't aggressive and off-putting like my husband does it. It was sweet.
Well, no, I think
People like him.
The way you said it was like, oh, so you assume I wasn't working hard? I have to tell you. But with him, he's so earnestly narrating his experience, So someone was like, "Good job," and he was like, "I tried very hard."
Okay. I'm gonna tell the audience a little bit of filler so that you understand this jump, and then I need you to tell us about your theory. So just see.
Cyrano theory.
No, yo, you have to tell the people. So here's the thing, with Dre TL, like, look, I don't know what it is about this generation, but like a lot of young kids do not rap on beat, and by not on beat, I mean like no relationship to it, like boom, clap.
It's like there's some beat happening, but I have these things like I'm like,
yo, hit the
like,
beatbox real quick. I want to explain this.
All right.
Yeah.
like boom.
And they're like, well, I was never ready with no. I can't even go so much ever. And like they're never.
You're still on beat.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
no, but it's like there's no 1 and 4. There's nothing, and it's like not even. Dude, anytime I've ever been on beat, and I've been off beat in public.
Yeah.
I've been off beat in the studio. I grew out of it. It's embarrassing. Like there's no even shame about it, right? And so, okay, the thing about
I think it's intentional.
Dude, no, I can't hear this right now. Hold on. We'll get to you, motherfucker. Wait a second. This is where I literally was like, I fell out of my chair yesterday. But what I had to, in order to get to Safia's take, I have to explain to the listener that. No, please. Here's the thing. Every time there would be, the guy's extremely handsome. He has an extremely robust regional accent. And he's just like a charming guy, right? But the joke that we kept making was because like other people would be like working their ass off and they would get like cut, and then people would be like, with no explanation, they would be like, and making it to the next round, Dre TL. And we were like, is this guy an industry plant? Is he Ludacris's cousin? And he would even be like I thought he was gonna throw it. Right? Like, well, tell us really brief. Oh my God, I broke my brain. Reef, will you briefly tell us about his interaction in the studio with Hitmaker, whose name is Hitmaker?
Oh,
one of the big fucking producers in hip hop.
He's with Hitmaker in the studio, and he has this vision for how he wants to. This is like before the final performance. So he's made it to the final round. It's what, like last five. And he has it's clear that he comes into the studio. He comes into that session with a clear idea of what he wants of how he wants to structure his performance. He wants to have, I think he might even have a song in mind that's like maybe a little bit, actually I'm not going to say pre-written, because he's actually, of everybody, he's probably, he maybe was doing a lot, a disproportionate amount of freestyling. But he had a vision for that performance where he wanted to, and it's very moving, he wanted to record a voicemail from his mom, or like a phone call with his mom, who was in jail, and have that play and then get back into the performance. And his version of the vision is like, I want to get on stage, I want to start, and then this is going to be something that happens in between, like the first section of my part and then the next section of my part. Where like for other people, they might have, like people who had an idea, like Jay Taj had idea of like, okay, I want to have these three distinct portions of my performance. What was interesting to me about the Dre TL vision is that he actually wanted to go straight back into the same song.
It was like intermission.
Same idea, intermission. And what he kept saying is like, I will have more energy. And so like what was really interesting to me about that, and it's really funny because in the studio, Hitmaker's like you like, what do you want from me?
Hitmaker literally was like, I'm not a guy that just comes and plays you a beat and you do whatever you want, right? Because this is, I think, a misunderstanding for a lot of young artists. It's like, and again, it's generational. We're like, oh, I was going to get a beat off SoundCloud. Well, guess what? In the real world, when you're making major label records, that motherfucker has a point of view. You don't just get to be hey, play me something and do exactly what I want. They're like, no, man, I have a thing. And Hitmaker left the studio frustrated, and that's when I thought, okay, there's no way Dre TL is gonna make it to the next round, bro.
They showed them going to the car with the bags. Like we were like, what? Yeah. And he was like, I'm just gonna like. We were like, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna like for his performance? Like the producer has left the building.
I think that, especially in hip hop, confidence is like sometimes harped on too much as a like an important thing to have. I'm like, yo, have confidence, but look. I'm confident that I'm like, oh, I think I can figure out how to make this show funny if I just say, Safi, you do this for you. But I'm not going to tell Josh about the fucking camera or Reef about the... I don't think I know more. I'm confident, but I don't think... I'm not an idiot, right? And so it's like, to be a 22-year-old who's like, yeah, you can rap, but Hitmaker has made real... major label records. Maybe ask him what he thinks. Maybe let him play you a couple joints before you're like, nah, it has to be in the middle. And this is the thing, is afterwards, when you and I were talking about it, Reeve, I was like, oh, this wasn't even a big concession, bro. This was like, they were like, hey man, same idea, just do it as an intro. And he was like, no. And then he said, I'm not having fun, I'm gonna go rap to myself. Yeah. So now
in the booth he was like,
I'm myself.
And I guess we have to tell the listener one last thing before we get into Safia's iconic theory, which is that occasionally, like, he would just be like failing so hard, and like to the point of like he was throwing it, like he didn't want to be there. The overwhelming feeling was that the guy was like, they have his sister in a basement and they're like, if you don't make it to round 2, she's get one in the, like, it was like I think he's kidnapped. And then occasionally he would be like, the lights would turn on in his eyes and he'd be like rapping his ass off. And you would be like, and so that leads us to Safia's theory.
Well, it was like we were trying to figure out the whole time what was going on because the judges loved him so much that I, as an audience member, felt I was being gaslit because we would watch 6 straight minutes of this young man not rapping on beat and like nowhere near on beat. And then the judges would be like, you know, you just got something about you that can't be taught. It's just
Je ne sais quoi.
It's the je ne sais quoi. And meanwhile, he kind of just increasingly seems like stressed out and like he doesn't want to be there. And those judges are dragging him to the finish line like by the hair, like against his will. And it took until like maybe the second to last episode for one of the judges to be like, yeah, this you know, at this precise moment there was a disconnect between you and the beat, and that's the closest anyone came in 10 episodes to saying to this young man, you have not rapped on beat but twice the whole time we've known each other. And so I wanted to know the nature of their investment in him because, again, seems like a really sweet kid. And, like, but really, like, y'all want it for him more than he wants it for himself and are willing to just overlook things that we, like, it's recorded. It was not rapping on beat most of the time. But it leads me to my theory because we really thought we had Dre TL, for the most part, figured out. And then it was the battle rap episode where they had to battle each other, and I don't remember the name of the kid that he was battling, but that guy went first, and then Dre TL steps up, and he starts rapping his ass off.
This is the best part of the show.
On beat. So I was like, okay, so he knows where the beat is. Which then which leads us to Bahia's theory where like maybe he was offbeat on purpose, maybe because he clearly knows where the beat is, as proven by that
I cannot
episode.
hear this from you, Bahia. I cannot hear this from you.
And then there was also the other challenge where they had to do a feature on an R&B song.
Wait, this was you still haven't told the whole theory in that. Yes,
I'm getting there. And on that one, also rapped on beat, did a good job, surprised us, and so I was like, the inconsistency is so disorienting that I like feel like that Mr. Krabs meme, and the ground is like being lifted up from under me, and so I can't believe you're making me share this theory in a recording
publicly.
But so you all know Cyrano, right? Will someone tell the listener, quickly recap the premise of Cyrano?
Cyrano is a famous story where basically it's like there's a guy who is in love with a woman, but he doesn't have any game, and so then he pays another guy to write her letters, and she falls in love with him based on the letters, and then the thing is like, she's like, oh, I'm in love with you, but really she's in love with Cyrano because of the letters.
Okay. So, all this to say that my theory is that Dre TL is like the handsome cousin of some guy who really can rap, and they came up with like a whole arrangement where he was gonna go be the face of the undertaking on television, and then there was gonna be like an AirPod secretly in his ear, and his cousin was just gonna like rap it to him, and all he had to do was repeat it. But I don't know if when they got to the show they confiscated their phones, the Wi-Fi was bad, whatever, because on some episodes he really was online, and on some episodes he really was not. And the more I think about it, the more I start to believe my own joke theory, because there are 2 Dre TLs. We saw them both.
There were. It's
There
like
were 2
literally,
Dre TLs and we saw them both.
Wow.
and you know what? Usually,
Which the only logical explanation is that they're literally 2 guys.
Earpiece. No,
Identical twins?
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh, okay, I like that one even better.
wait, that's okay.
I like that
Now
one
we're
even better.
cooking. No, literally, yo, like sometimes there would be light behind his eyes, and sometimes there wasn't. Like, and that's what I'm realizing about like professionalism is just like consistency, because you literally like some days of when in the show I was like, dude, you're like begging them to kick you out. You know what I'm saying?
He said, "I'm not having fun."
Dude, and this is where and again, like I'm speaking from like 34-year-old rap jealousy, because I was like root for the old guy because he cares about it. But no, but
Guy,
see,
he's 32. Oh my
babe,
god.
in rap, that is old. You understand? Like Tupac, Tupac died at like 25 or something.
Yes.
Right. 32 is old.
In his 20s, yeah.
Yeah, it was before 27, right? So it's like, that is the age of a lot of this shit, right? But you were, the part of me that was like jealous and like a little mad was, I'm like, yo, these people are giving you professional resources with which to, we sit here trying to figure out all day how do we make it sound like a Kanye record? How do we blah, blah, blah? And it's like, oh, I got to buy this thing and learn how to, here they're going, yo, this is the top of the field. All you have to do is have an idea.
Yeah, so your head's about to fall off the back of my head.
All you have to do is have an idea. And he wouldn't have an idea. Like, not just him, like a lot of guys, like, and people like wouldn't have.
But that was also why I was like confused at the judges, because it is ultimately cruel to put someone on a platform, and this is not about Dre Tail specifically. I think he handled the platform just fine. I think he's going to have a very successful career. Inshallah. I legit, I know I'm talking shit, but I'm rooting for that young man.
He's fucking dope.
I think it is like cruel and irresponsible to continue to like pass someone through as the challenges get more and more technical and difficult and the platform gets bigger and the cameras are on, because you're basically like, you're setting someone up to like do a bad job in public, and if they don't want to be there, and like, you know what I mean, where it like, and again, maybe it was just the way it was cut together and he did really want to be there, but I will say that the edit that they gave him on that show, he looked miserable in the semifinal, the last episode before the finals. When they announced who was making it to the last round, everyone was like really excited, and then they called his name and he looked haunted.
No, it was like when Trump won the election, he was like, I have to be president for 4 years.
I don't like pretend to, know his innermost feelings, but I will say the edit that they cut together of footage of that young man on that show, he did not look like he wanted to be there. And yet the judges, again, dragging him to the finish line, like by the hair, kicking and screaming, which, if he doesn't want to be there, and if you keep putting him in situations where he's out of his depth, ultimately, I think that's cruel.
Okay.
I mean, they knew what they were getting into when they signed up for Rhythm and Flow. They knew it was
I think someone else signed him up to battle like an 8 Mile.
But I think it was the edit. I really think, because the way Hitmaker obviously didn't leave, right?
Well, I mean, he must have left
That's
at the
ambiguous
end.
to me, actually.
Yeah, like they didn't.
I was very curious. Like when that happened, when they showed footage of like Hitmaker leaving, going into the car, I was nervous for Dre TL. Like I was like,
I thought it was over.
I was like, are you gonna go on BeatStars? Like, what's the next?
I thought that was gonna happen. He was gonna like,
I thought it was going.
Or make a beat.
Make a beat. Like
I want to play 2 seconds of Same Ultima just to like, because this is where I think the Dre TL project could go. Right, it's like a guy with a super regional accent and a very specific story. Right, and I played this for you guys yesterday, but like I'm just gonna play 2 seconds of this. Yeah. And I want to play from the Kodak Black part into the Juvenile part, because you don't notice how offbeat Kodak Black is if it's just a Kodak Black song. But then when you hear Juvenile,
my nigga sitting in prison, he lost his phone privilege. He got out and went back in like he doing home visits. All them cash for gold missions we used to rob plasmas. Tell them crackers to free my dog, I need a boy gallon. He done been down calendars for South Florida.
It has to, when you have a voice that's that, accents tell a story, right? And I think that's part of why they were like, I'm not gonna play the Juvenile part. Anyway, just know that the Juvenile part is like, it's a Bone Thug, so it's like, like super in pocket, super melodic, super all that stuff. And meanwhile, Kodak Black is like, but if your first line is, my man sitting in jail, he just lost his phone privileges, it had, right? The writing because here's the thing, it's like, especially in hip hop, like when we're talking about authenticity and all this stuff, right? You're talking about, when people say authenticity, often they're talking about a certain narrative or lived experience, but you're also talking about like, what is the human vessel? You know what I'm saying? And how that manifests for a recording artist is their accent. So I do partly think that Ludacris and Lotto were sitting there being like, look, man, Atlanta is the center of hip hop, right? It is the new New York. So when you have a guy who like, his voice just tells a story about the American South, we'll get someone else to write it. We'll get someone else to sit there and be like, Dre, tell me a story about your real life, and then we'll get JID to go be like, here's how, to be in pocket and whatever. And you can, and here's the thing, stars are made like that all the time, but how it's gendered is like, when any woman raps, the whole industry goes, man, who's her writer? And sometimes, Cardi does have a writer, but it's not like they have a relationship. I think it's Partisan Fontaine, who's her writer. We're like, I'm sure he sits there and is like, oh, you just said that's interesting. Like, oh, okay, you often say this thing. Like, let me put it into. It's not I mean, obviously, like, I come from a certain school of like, if you're gonna be one of the greatest of all time, you have to have written it yourself. But Cardi's an incredible artist. All artists in a major label system, it requires 30 fucking people to get it off the ground. It ain't just like one. So when you look at someone like Dre TL, I was like, yeah, like, I guess I don't know any like male rappers where people like know their ghostwriter or whatever, other than like the Quentin Miller stuff but like, just get him a writer, bro. It's not that deep. Like, if he's not, get him someone, honestly, get JID to go in there and be like, I'm from where, because you also need someone who's like, it doesn't always have to be like this, but it's like, I'm from where you're from, I understand what you're talking about, I can help you find clarity around this thing or whatever. Like, that to me is where that project could really shine, for him.
I also am realizing that Rhythm and Flow has turned into our lockdown show, because we watched season 1 like early.
Oh my
COVID.
God.
And now here we are processing season 2 on day 5 of Wildfire Slumber Party. But part of me believes that they were like, we can't give it to Jay Taj because the season 1 winner of Rhythm and Flow was also like a very serious Los Angeles rapper in his 30s who is a grown man.
Shout out D Smoke.
As well. Shout out D Smoke. And so it was, and they're very different artists, but I think even if you are just thinking in terms of like archetype or whatever, it would have, I think, read as enough of a pattern if Jay Taj had won the season right after D Smoke, and Dre TL is a completely different profile of artist that it like can explode any idea of there being a pattern.
Well, what I would say to that is that, like, yeah, I mean, guess what? There is a pattern. Sometimes people who work harder at a thing and are more thoughtful about something and have done it for longer are better, right? So that was a thing where
it's reality television. Someone is they're a little bit. It's reality television, but it's not like entirely untampered with. It's not like there's even the fact that we're sitting here talking about Dre TL's edit, like, it's reality television. So it's not just like, okay, well, the rules of the game is whoever works the hardest and does the best job wins the competition. Like, lovely, but also
some people like, fuck your dreams, everybody.
Well,
sometimes
I also think Dre TL is a very contemporary kind of personality, and like even in his looseness around like how he might be approaching it, or like his authenticity, that earnestness, that kind of like youthful, like chill vibe. Like, I think that really, it speaks to a lot of people who are like into that. And like,
hip hop is youth culture, right? So it always helps to have a younger artist. And also, it's like, I mean, the cynical part of me is like, I think that a 32-year-old rapper who's like been through some stuff would be like, let me look at this contract. I don't know that you guys, Rhythm and Flow has right of first refusal. We're a 22-year-old who's like, I will sign this if you stop talking to me and let me go be by myself because I hate you guys. Like,
actually, what even the terms of winning are, because the thing we all kept laughing about is whenever they would talk about what you won if you won the competition, is they kept being like, you can win up to $250,000, but
what is up to, bro? What is up to?
Never heard that before.
Hey Josh, I'm gonna pay you up to $200 today. No, literally, bro. It's like, and also with the coolest part to me about all of this is the collab where they're like, here's a song that already exists. You're gonna have 16 bars on it. You're gonna get to perform it live, and like, Jay Tyler, like a huge Lucky Day song, and he's like a poem about his life, and because part of being a feature is that you have to rise to the occasion of the project. And we make fun of Lil Wayne for this all the time, where it's like the song is about like love, and then he's like, I'll kill your whole family, and you're like, well, it works because it's Wayne, but like he's doing his own thing. But you have to like kind of earn that, literally. Also, they gave him a song called, and that artist, with the cornrows was like he was so good.
Oh,
Now you're talking
Dance,
about
dance.
You're talking about Birthday Dance with Dre TL, not the song that J Taj was on a Lucky Day song.
Yeah, J Taj was on a Lucky Day song.
I don't remember.
It was called Birthday Dance.
Yeah, Birthday Dance. I don't remember the name of the artist. He's very good though. but I
He's
don't
very
remember his
good.
name.
Yeah.
He kind of had like a sort of like a jagged edge, sort of like can dance, wear tight wife beater,
It was
cornrows.
very, like, nostalgic.
Yes,
like-
Y2K shit.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But literally, the song's called Birthday Dance, which is just a bad title. But the guy was really
So,
sweet.
it's just this generation's Birthday Sex, which is also a bad title for a great song.
And no, literally, Dre was like, I don't dance. And this song is about dance. He kept saying this song is about
And
dance.
then he was like, the song is about dance, and it goes dance, dance, dance.
And then his verse was like, I don't dance. I'll give you a 1-2.
His whole thing.
Yo, it was.
Which I thought was so.
No, it was amazing.
I thought that was
Good
really
job.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was. I
His
thought.
whole verse on Birthday Dance was about how he doesn't
Yeah,
dance.
his Cyrano cousin came back online in the AirPod.
Yeah, and I was like, nailed it.
But
It's like,
that's
that's
where
your truth. And like,
It reminded me of there's a Wayne joint. I forget. It was off in the mixtape series where he was like, I don't even like this beat, but I killed it, or something like that. That's how he felt. Where I was like, bro, like. I'm like, yeah, you did a good job, but like, kind of fuck you a little bit. Like, this is my joint, bro. Birthday Dance took me years to write. No, but like, the guy, I forget the artist's name. I think it's Levi something. He was so sweet.
Josh
Yeah.
Levi, maybe?
Maybe.
I think it's something
But
like
we
that.
were like, both, Reef and I had a really emotional reaction because after that, anyone who's being honest is like, how was it to work with Dre TL? Bad. It was not good. But so the judge is asking, like, how was it to work with Dre? He was like, he's the one. He's the man. Yeah. And I like, especially for like young men, and like I was really moved by that.
Well, I think that was the whole thing. Which the reason, like, we're all kind of walking this line of being like exasperated but loving is because he's such an easy guy to root for, because he does seem just like a really sweet guy.
He's a sweet guy. Yo, the funniest thing was Safia was sitting there. She was like, oh, I just looked up Dre TL's Instagram, and it's, like Instagram tells you, like, John liked this thing. It was like Biniam had commented. I was like, I really was moved by, and I was like, yo, that's the funniest Instagram feature in the world to me, bro. Where it's like, where
it like highlights your friend's comments.
yeah, well, you'll stumble on something. You're like, oh, I thought I was on this page. He's an easy guy
to root for. Like the whole time. I mean, y'all saw we'd be watching, and I would just like. It really brought out the auntie in me. He would just come on screen. I would just clutch my heart and be like, Habibi. Like, you know what I mean? Like, rapping offbeat. And also, like, I hope the best in life finds you. I don't know.
It was like, it reminded me, and we should probably wrap it up because it's 3:00. But it reminded me of that Robin Williams bit about the Olympics where he was like, the French judges, they were like, the Canadians, they skated beautifully. The Russians, they fucked up. How like life? I give it to them. It was literally like that every time. They were like,
Dre TL, he rapping off beat. How like life? I give it to him.
No, it was literally that. It was like, J Taj, man, you worked on this for hours. You didn't sleep and you hit every note perfectly. Dre, you don't want to be here, but hey, I like that about you. I fuck with that. Me too, bro. I don't want to be here either. And you're like, it was honestly shocking. Anyway, listen, this has been an experiment in many ways. This is our first time with a couple more mics. We got the Zoom joint. We got our man Josh Snow's here so that I don't have to be hooked up to nothing. And we all did this together, and I appreciate, you people are... you're like not you, you're a fucking professional actor, but you motherfuckers over here are like, you're like my favorite people. There are lines, and it's this diagonal. No, because wait,
marginalized population.
No. Listen, this is honest, right? You guys are two of my favorite people to hear talk, right? But you guys are like very reticent to be in public, right? And so I appreciate that. Bahia and I were born in public. Yeah, Bahia and I are like, I hate attention. Stop.
I'm really shy.
I hate when people look at me and listen to my... Fine, I'll read 40 pages of my novel right now. Like, where you guys are like, what are we going to talk about? You know what I mean? So I'll be like, So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. Couldn't have been cooped up with a nicer group of people. Seriously.
Thank you.
Love you guys so much, and thank you, Josh. See, 303, I'm producing. Hear that? This has been oh fuck, I didn't do the intro anywhere. Anyway, this has been episode 11 of the Chris Gabo Show. I'm gonna play the intro out, and that's how we're gonna go. So Josh, keep rolling for 2 seconds. I'm gonna play the
Thank you for having us.
We're good. Y'all are good. This. Thank you. Super fun. Thank you.
Don't touch that dial, because there's nothing else on.
Love you.
Just as well listen to
The next episode of the Gabo Show.
Well, you're gonna have to come back next week for more free labor.
I realized I'm gonna be laughing.
Wait, what's your theory?
Why I think or off the
Yeah.
Oh God.
I was really looking forward to it.
I will start that. No, literally now you have to.